Lamar Jackson starting off says Ravens Lamar Jackson blames playoff woes on being too antsy. I mean, if that's what you want to call it, fine. Fine. I guess when you do play great and you've shown up on the field and you've been the MVP twice and you're having a great 2024 season, you get to kind of say things like this, right? Yeah, I was just a little nervous, a little antsy. I'm gonna figure it out this year. Don't worry. We'll get into this story. Make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up. Here we go. If Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson had learned anything from his playoff struggles, it's to remember to keep his emotions in check when the stakes of the games increase. I'd just be too excited, Jackson said after Tuesday's practice. That's all too antsy. I'm seeing things before it happened, like, oh, I got to calm myself down, but just being more experienced, I found a way to balance it out. As the Ravens play host to Pittsburgh Steelers in a wild card game Saturday, Jackson will look to overcome his postseason disappointment. The two-time NFL Most Valuable Player is 2-4 in the playoffs and has never reached the Super Bowl in his previous 6 seasons. So yeah, I mean, it's very easy, like I said, to say, okay, I was a little worried, little nervous, maybe a little concerned as far as with my performance. But the problem with that I have with that is this: you've been great. You've done your job, whether it be rushing, whether it be passing. And so to kind of, say now, hey, I was a little antsy. It's kind of in hindsight as far as, for what the conversations were, whether it was throwing picks, whether it was not able to, execute in critical moments in the game, or just letting the game be bigger than you, opposed to you become bigger than it. I think, that's more of the issues that Lamar Jackson has struggled with. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that he wasn't great in these seasons, because he definitely was. But we all know that the issues in the postseason does become a larger than life moment. Can you overcome the adversities heading into these major games? And so, hey, we're going to see it this weekend. We're going to see whether or not Lamar Jackson can take all the pieces that he have right now, all this experience that he has right now, and being in this same scenario where he has folded under pressure and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to let this team down. I'm going to go out there and put this team on my shoulders, and I'm going to lead us to the promised land. And so we'll keep it going. Says the issue with Jackson has been turnovers in 6 playoff starts. He has thrown 6 interceptions and has lost 3 fumbles. You got to try to be mistake-free, Jackson said. The game's won with a turnover battle and keeping the ball in your control, moving the ball down the field, getting first downs, putting points on the ball. Obviously, that's how you win those games. Jackson doesn't think about the playoff losses from earlier in his career because he feels he was too young. There's only one postseason defeat that repeatedly comes to mind. Last season's 17-10 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship Game. That's probably the only playoff game I do think about, Jackson said. It was right there, but my mind, I'm focused now, though. It is what it is at this point. What does he think about from that AFC Championship game? We lost it, he said. So, there's there's a lot of individuals who are thinking about certain AFC Championship games. I'm sure that Josh Allen feels the same way because it came at the hands of Kansas City Chiefs. So if there's anyone who's, had a dead set vision on getting past a team right now, it's Lamar Jackson and getting past Kansas City, Josh Allen and getting past Kansas City. But there's a lot of football to be played. There's a lot of games that, need to be played before we get there. And there's going to have to be a lot of decision making and people rising to the occasion as we move forward into this wild card weekend. Everyone has, thought about past transgressions and how to get over certain things and how to move forward, whether it be sports, whether it be in life, whether it be in work. These are, the defining moments as far as your character and how far you're willing to push yourself, whether you're a professional athlete or just a regular person in life. And so I think for Lamar Jackson at this point in his career, it's turning into, okay, I know what I can do. I know that I'm talented. Now I need to overcome the beast of adversity and overcome the fear of not being able to accomplish what I need to for this team, which would be a Super Bowl, and being successful. I don't think anybody can sit here and say that they don't expect to see Lamar Jackson in a Super Bowl. I think the question more so was just when we will see him in a Super Bowl. So, like I said, a lot's going to happen between then and now. We'll break down as far as, the games in a moment here. So make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like, that thumbs up as we continue on. Tyrone says, I believe this year he doesn't have the pressure to try to do it all. Yeah. I mean, when you look at having Derrick Henry, Flowers obviously is a question mark, but Bateman, you have Andrews, these guys have definitely became his core. And then obviously in the flip side, right, your defense has been doing very well for the most part. And I think this, once again, it turns into what kind of Lamar Jackson are you getting heading into the playoffs? And so if we just go back here, because I do got the stats pulled up. I mean, if we go back and we just look at the last 4 years in the postseason, you've got back in 18, right? He says he doesn't want to count that. Fine. You were 14 of 29, 48.3% completion percentage, 194 yards. You had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. You were sacked 7 times. You had a QBR of 10.4. I wouldn't want to remember that either. If I had a QBR of 10.4 in the playoffs, I wouldn't want to remember that either. I would blame it on being young. Then we get into 2019, right? You're 31 of 59. Completion percentage is 52.5, 365 yards, average was 6.2. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. You were sacked 4 times. You had a QBR of 30.4. I don't want to remember that one either. Heading into 20, right? You advanced. You averaged 31 of 48, 64.6 on the completion percentage, 341 yards. You averaged 7.1. No touchdowns. You had 2 interceptions. You're sacked 8 times. So then you get into, obviously, 2023. 2 games, right? 36 completions, 59 on the attempts, 61% on the completion percentage, 424 yards, 7.2 on the average, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. You were sacked 7 times, but you had a QBR of 74.4. So like I said, Lamar Jackson is getting better in the postseason, in which that's what you'd want to see from a veteran of his caliber at this point, and specifically with this talented team. So I do hope that he's able to overcome these challenges and get things together for this Ravens squad. If you're going to do it, this is your year to do it. You've got all the pieces on the board. You're checking off all the boxes. Hey, you're in the MVP running. And I think at this point, you have more than the ability to prove yourself with this squad. And so we'll just have to see what happens this weekend. So there you go.